You're listening to the Intercoastal Podcast, part of the Destination Marketing Podcast Network. Welcome to the Intercoastal Podcast, where we explore all the stories, adventures, and culture that make the Lowcountry unforgettable. This is the place to find your Intercoastal. Today we're talking about wedding planning in Beaufort with Caroline Bowen, who's having her wedding here in Beaufort. Thanks for joining us. Let's dive in.
Hey Daquan, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So I know wedding planning can be a little tedious and time-consuming, but what I want to ask is, why did you pick Beaufort to be your wedding location?
Yeah, absolutely. So Beaufort is very near and dear to my heart as well as my fiance's heart. I'm not originally from Beaufort, but I grew up vacationing down here, and my fiance and his entire family were born and raised here. And we're going to be planting our roots here, and this is just going to be our home moving forward. So we're really excited.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good idea. Me and my wife got married in the upstate in Spartanburg. I'm from Spartanburg. She's from Pickens. We went to college at Lander and Greenwood. So that was kind of like a good in-between spot for all our family. But now looking at it, we live in Beaufort, and we don't get to see our wedding venue. We don't get to see the land that we got married on very often. So it would be a really cool aspect of you guys to kind of drive past every day and see where you get married and be like, oh, tell your kids like, oh, that's where we got married, and show the pictures, and they can be like, oh yeah, that's that location.
Absolutely.
That's definitely unique. What is it about the venue that you picked that sealed a deal for you?
Yeah, so our venue is actually over at the Beaufort Inn. We're getting married in a church here downtown, and then our reception is at the Beaufort Inn. The church that we're getting married in is First African Baptist. Mm-hmm. It's a very historic church in our area. We love the feel of it and the history behind it, and it's just somewhere that we felt was going to be very special to us. Great venue, great space, and then for us to go and have our reception at the Beaufort Inn. The Beaufort Inn is such a great space because they have so many types of rooms there that your guests can pick from. Yeah. So we did create a room block there, but they have everything from cottages for families to single rooms for couples or grandparents. And it's just a very beautiful low country feel. Everything is close together, and downtown Beaufort and the Beaufort Inn just really fell in line with exactly what we envisioned our big day to look like.
That's a really cool experience that you get coming to Beaufort when you get married here, that you want that Beaufort experience, and now your wedding gets to be the quintessential Beaufort experience of getting married literally walking distance from our downtown. Not many people can say that.
Absolutely. And that was something that was really important to us as well, is obviously my fiance and I and our close family will be running around with lots of wedding to-dos, but we wanted all of our guests to really experience Beaufort and everything that it has to offer. Mm-hmm. A lot of our guests are making a little vacation out of it as well. So not only just visiting downtown Beaufort, but Port Royal, Fripp, St. Helena, and just lots of other amazing spots in the area, and just have a little vacation out of it.
And have you or your fiance ever stayed at the Beaufort Inn before?
Personally, we have never stayed at the Beaufort Inn before, but we have heard amazing reviews about it, and we've toured it quite a few times. As I mentioned, all of the rooms are so different. It has such a low country and charming feel to it that was super important to us, so we're very excited to get to stay there.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Speaking of all the people who want that same feel for their wedding in their venues, do you know about the celebrities that have their wedding in the Lowcountry?
I know that Justin Bieber had his wedding in Bluffton, which is super cool. I guess that was quite a few years ago, but Palmetto Bluff, I believe. Yeah. And it's really just a great spot, and this area has pulled people from all different backgrounds and all over the world, and it's just an amazing spot to get married.
Yeah, I agree. Like the Justin Bieber thing, I remember going to tell my wife Justin Bieber's getting married and chose Beaufort or Bluffton, which is Beaufort County, to have his wedding. And he could go to Egypt, he could go anywhere in the world, Paris, at the top of the Eiffel Tower, anything like that. But he chose this area, the Lowcountry, to get married in, and that speaks volumes. Not only just about our area, but who it attracts and how far it actually goes and what is so special about the area.
Absolutely. And I think that we're such a unique spot as well because Charleston's a big site for weddings as well. So is Savannah. But Beaufort is such a great in between for anyone that's looking for. I mean, weddings are really all about family and friends. And this is just a great spot to have everyone come together and get a little bit out of the hustle and bustle and spend time with your closest people. So.
Yeah, I agree. Have you seen the picture of the 1993 weddings? There was a woman getting married, and Tom Hanks was filming Forrest Gump, and he actually stopped by their wedding, and she was able to get a picture with him in her wedding dress right before her wedding. That something like that is so cool that you never know what scene can be made here in Beaufort.
Right. There's so much rich history down here, and you never know who could be right around the corner. So there's definitely opportunity for some really cool experiences like that. But I have seen that picture, and it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's just a really cool experience. So what advice do you have for someone who's looking to plan their wedding here in Beaufort?
Yeah, if you want to plan a wedding here in Beaufort, I definitely would take the time to look at all the different venue options. Obviously, the Beaufort Inn aligned very well with what we're doing for our wedding and our vision, but every bride is different. Everyone's Pinterest board is different for whatever they're planning their wedding, and I think it's really important to think about how many guests you have and kind of what kind of feel you want for the day. There's so many beautiful churches in our area if that's something that you're looking for, as well as outdoor venue spaces as well. Personally, I was not looking for an outdoor venue space, but there are some beautiful ones here in Beaufort. Some smaller venues if you're looking for elopements or just a really small group for a wedding. And then Tabby Place, where we're having our reception, can fit up to 350 people. So there really is something for everyone, and I just recommend that you do your research, you do all the tours, and you try all the food and just enjoy being a bride and taking it all in.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listening to your answer about Beaufort, it kind of took me back, and I'm thinking about all the weddings that I've went to throughout my years, and I've went to beach weddings on Isle of Palms, and I've been in weddings in like downtown Greenville. So I've seen a bunch of different type of styles, but what I like about Beaufort is the unique history. So I've seen the pictures of people getting married in the Arsenal, or that have their reception in the Arsenal, and that's just a really cool concept to be surrounded by a fortress in the middle of your wedding and your wedding gown and tuxedo, and have a bit of history in your wedding. So I think that's definitely something unique that Beaufort offers.
Absolutely. Beach weddings are a big thing out here. I mean, Fripp Island, Hunting Island Beach, there's so many different venues that you can choose from, anywhere from having a 400-person wedding out on the beach or having 50 people at the brewery in Port Royal. There's so many opportunities for everyone that can align with what you want.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day to where I see a downtown wedding happen on the waterfront property. That would be an amazing location for pictures, and it's just the landscape itself is amazing.
Absolutely.
So are there any local vendors that you're using for your wedding and you want to shout them out?
Absolutely. Gavigan Entertainment is our DJ, Jesse Gavigan. He does a lot in our community. He's an amazing day of coordinator and DJ. We are using Jimmy Fitz Catering as our caterer for our wedding. We're doing more of a barbecue type feel, but there are so many caterers in our area that if you're looking to get married here, I definitely recommend you checking out. There's Downtown Catering Company. There's Sea Eagle Market if you're looking for kind of a Lowcountry boil type feel. So it's really just depends on what you're looking for, but there's so many different options. We will be using Carolina Weddings. They're based out of Bluffton, but they do rentals. They do a lot here in the Beaufort area. And there's a lot of other places that you can go to get rentals. And we just have some really amazing vendors in our area, lots to choose from, like I said. But those are just some of the ones that we're using for ours.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like you have a good plan. I think at my wedding, we also did barbecue. So that's kind of really a staple. And nobody does barbecue like the Lowcountry.
Right.
So that's a great point. Are you incorporating any special Lowcountry elements in your wedding? Maybe food, decoration, party favors, anything like that?
Absolutely. So for our cocktail hour, we are doing some seafood options. So we'll have fried green tomatoes, mini crab cakes. We'll have shrimp cocktails. So those are just some things to kind of bring out. We're going to be outdoors for that. So we're really excited to kind of showcase the Lowcountry and the seafood in our area before we go inside and have barbecue. There's lots of new traditions and new things that I've seen at a lot of Southern weddings, one of which is a live wedding painter. So we actually have a local artist that's going to be painting our first kiss in the church live. So that's something that the guests can see. There's so many different Lowcountry traditions that we would like to incorporate as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of burying a bottle of bourbon on your, I believe it's 10 days before your wedding, and then you bury it and you dig it up on your wedding day, and it's supposed to mean good luck so that you have good weather on your wedding day. Oh, wow. So that's definitely something we'll be incorporating as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool aspect. I never really thought about the different traditions that the Lowcountry has, or the superstitions as far as trying to get the weather to be as great as it can be. So what is your favorite thing about planning your wedding in Beaufort?
My favorite thing about planning my wedding in Beaufort is the fact that obviously it's going to be the biggest day of my fiance and I's lives, and we are so excited, but I definitely wanted to create an experience for all of my guests, and Beaufort really is the perfect spot for that. As I mentioned, people are making vacations out of it. There's so many amazing restaurants to choose from in our area, shopping and other experiences and attractions that they can visit while they're here. So a lot of our guests are staying longer than just the weekend. We're actually getting married on a Friday, and part of that reason is so people can stay through the weekend and just experience the Lowcountry and really see why we chose this place as our home and why it's so important to us.
Yeah, that's a good idea to kind of help them turn it into a full weekend thing, so it's not just Saturday and then they turn around and leave Sunday to go back home.
Absolutely.
I like that. I got a little nervous asking you what your favorite part of planning a wedding was, because I know when people hear planning a wedding, they're like, nothing, I hate it all. Yeah. Like, so I'm glad that you had a good answer, especially about the Beaufort area.
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, planning a wedding can definitely be a little overwhelming, but I will say that all of our vendors have been absolutely amazing. Everyone's super easy to work with, and a good thing about having a wedding here is a lot of your vendors know each other. So actually my DJ and my photographer, Charlotte Berkeley, work together for almost every wedding that they do. So a lot of those people already have those relationships established. So even if you're coming from out of town, you may not know all of these vendors, but they know each other and they have it under control. And I feel very ready to place everything in their hands so that I can just enjoy my day.
Yeah, and not only that, they know the venues well because they've performed there. They know what the setup is, what's needed, light setup, as far as taking photos, where the best photo locations are. So when they're comfortable where they're at, it makes the best for not only you, but the wedding, for the guests, for everybody involved.
Exactly.
So how does it feel for you to have the memory of your wedding always associated with Beaufort?
Having my wedding always being associated with Beaufort is really important to us. As I mentioned, my fiance's whole family is from here, and it's just something that we really want to share with all of our friends and family. It's such a beautiful and charming place, and for our future children and our future family to come to Beaufort and drive past the church where we got married, as you mentioned, or to walk past our reception site, there's just something that even when our guests come back to visit, they'll always think about our wedding and how amazing it was to be here in Beaufort. And we hope that they'll continue to come back to visit us here and experience all of the fun stuff that Beaufort has to offer.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Like I said, with me and my wife, we don't really get to go see our venue location. But when we go back and see other venue locations, or we remember other weddings, we're like, oh, yeah, that was a fun time, or that was a fun day. And we think about that, having that memory constantly every day, every week for you and your fiance, especially here in town. That's a great reminder of good times and moving forward in life. So And if I could give you any advice as far as your wedding, I know the planning part is over. You're already in the final phase of it, and you're going to be stressed the day of and the day before. But my advice would be just enjoy it. It's going to be a blur. It's going to go fast, and it's going to go way faster than you expect. But just sit back, enjoy it, and take in that slow country Beaufort charm that you've planned for, and let everybody else have their fun, but just take a moment to enjoy your day.
Absolutely. We're very excited.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show, Caroline, and thank you for listening to the Intercoastal Podcast. We hope we've inspired you to find your intercoastal wherever your journey takes you. You can follow us on social media at visit_BeaufortSC on Instagram or at BeaufortSC on Facebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review, and share our podcast with others who love the Lowcountry. We'll talk to y'all next time. This has been another episode of the Intercoastal Podcast, hosted by Daquan Mickens and the team at Visit Beaufort, Port Royal, and the Sea Islands. Produced by Revolt.